you, Joey, and we're going to call the Board of Mayor Alderman meeting of Tuesday, February 25th, 2025 to order. I'm going to call the roll. Alderman Barnhill.
Present.
Alderman Blanton.
Here.
Alderman Caesar.
Here.
Alderman Peterson. Alderman Berger. Alderman Brown.
Present.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Present.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
And the mayor's here. So everybody's here. We're going to begin with an invocation. I would ask Alderman Barnhill if he would offer the invocation, then I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Would you bow with me? Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer tonight, thanking you for all the many blessings that we have. We know that this community and we as Franklinites and Williamson County residents are truly a blessed part of Tennessee. We ask that you be with the national leaders as they make decisions. We know that we're going through some terrifically difficult times and difficult decisions. Be with them. We also ask that you be with our first responders. They're on the front lines protecting our freedoms. We ask that you be with them. We know it's difficult on their families a lot of times. This prayer we offer in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now it's time to set the agenda, and I would entertain a motion to set the agenda if there's no changes. I would call your attention to one thing that needs just a verbal correction. That is under Ordinance 2025-02, it refers to second and final reading. It actually should read first of two readings, just FYI. And then I'll recognize Alderman Brown.
Mr. Mayor, I was going to pull up item number 9 from the consent agenda, the discussion around the turn lane at Margin and 3rd Avenue, because we had a discussion about retaining that crosswalk in there, and to hear back from staff. My understanding is that they are going to retain that. It just didn't make it into the memo here. If I'm correct in that, then I'll leave it in the consent agenda. That would be my only reason to pull it up. So if I can just get that clarification, I'll leave that in the consent agenda and we'll move on. And I'll set the agenda as stated.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, just to clarify that, that is exactly right. We do plan to keep the crosswalk in as it is right now. Our data right now shows it's used about 6 times a day, so it's not heavily used, but we'll keep an eye on that and see if it's creating any disruption or impacting traffic negatively and see if it's worth revisiting. But right now, it's less expensive. It's easier to stay where we are right now with minimal impact, and we'll just keep an eye on it. And we had committed to a reevaluation of how this is functioning about 6 months out anyway. So that'll come back to you at a work session 6 months from now to see how we're doing, and that'll be part of that discussion, I'm sure, too.
And I don't think we had a second to your motion.
Okay.
I will second that, but we don't need.
There's no need to
Wanna
motion.
withdraw it?
Wait, do we have to
So,
withdraw?
so I move to set the agenda as.
I thought that was the
We don't
original.
need to
Sorry,
withdraw
yeah.
it?
Okay, and seconded by Alderman Baggett. Any discussion? We'll go to roll call. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to citizen comments for items that are not on the agenda. Christopher Diley would like to speak to Artistic Freedom Supreme Court decision. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Christopher Diley. I'm speaking on the Supreme Court decision yesterday regarding the Tennessee drag show. Law stands after U.S. Supreme Court declines to hear the appeal. That's in the Tennessean reported today. And why this pertains to the city of Franklin is because it impinges on artistic freedom for the residents of the city of Franklin. What this does is it makes it illegal for the what fits the definition of adult cabaret, which would be specifically male or female impersonators that might be seen in public by children. So they don't want that to occur because they think that would be harmful for children. But if you take a look at this, if you look at, and let me point out really quickly that President Trump actually kind of backs that up by appointing a new executive director of the Kennedy Center for American Arts and Culture, and he stated on Truth Details that no more drag shows or other anti-American propaganda. So he seems to be in favor of this, that calling this anti-American propaganda to have female impersonators or male impersonators. Now, I'd like to object to that publicly and say that Judy Garland in Over the Rainbow, she was dressed as a male. That's one of the most fantastic things that I've ever seen. And the late Dame Edna announced that Queen Elizabeth before 20,000 people in London in 2002. Also, Dame Edna in the royal box with Charles and Camilla. They were laughing. The Prince Charles and Camilla were laughing over Dame Edna, but Dame Edna was a female impersonator, and that was in front of children, in front of families, and everything. They thought that was hilarious, as do I. But Dame Edna would be prohibited from doing that. So that takes away freedom of expression, and this is extremely important. Though it may seem trivial, and I'll say this in closing, is that if you look on YouTube, it's Donald Trump joined Dame Edna Everage on the Wogan couch. So even Donald Trump was with Dame Edna on the couch in 1988, and they were laughing. So he's changed his Thank you.
Now's an opportunity for communications. I have none from the Williamson County Commission. We are appreciative of using their facility. And I would ask if there are any miscellaneous reports as I grab one thing. Are there any miscellaneous reports? Go ahead with your recognition right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to take just a minute and just thank city staff for all the work that they do across the board. And a lot of times, several individuals step up. And I wanted to thank Paul Hosen for recently helping to inform a lot of the 20-plus HOA leaders that are in Ward 3 about projects that are going on. He spoke last Tuesday at a quarterly meeting that we held. So, Paul, I just want to say thank you, sir.
Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda. All items under the consent, we're going to go to approval of the minutes, February 11th, 2025, and the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting and work session. I'd entertain a motion. Thank you. Is there a second? Alderman Peterson, thank you. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton. Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to a proclamation, and I would ask Maggie Seals. And you want to bring your daughter with you? Or?
She's the little one's outside.
Okay, okay. Well, this is Maggie Seals, and she's asked that if I would do a proclamation concerning Rare Disease Day. Whereas there are over 7,000 rare diseases affecting more than 30 million Americans, and whereas approximately 600,000 residents of Tennessee are affected by one of the rare diseases, highlighting the significant impact these conditions have on individuals, families, and communities across the state, and whereas many rare diseases are serious and debilitating conditions that have significant impact on the lives of those affected. And whereas, while each rare disease may affect a number of people, the total number of Americans with rare diseases is substantial. Whereas individuals and families affected by rare diseases often experience challenges such as delay in diagnosis, misdiagnosis, shortage of medical specialists, and lack of access to treatments. And whereas Rare Disease Day has been designated as the occasion to bring forth a nationwide call to action and raise awareness of rare diseases, now therefore I, Dr. Ken Moore, Mayor of the City of Franklin, do proclaim February 28th, 2025 as Rare Disease Day. So, you're welcome. Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Of course, yes, thank
She
you.
wants to get our
Okay.
picture right up here.
Old times, new times.
Last chance. Okay, we're now going to go to the consent agenda, and all items under the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body. They will be approved as recommended by committee or staff by one motion of the governing body. We're looking at items 9 through 18. Is there a motion?
Second.
Thank you. Second by the vice mayor. Any
Mr. Mayor?
discussion?
Yeah, what did we say we were gonna do about number 12? To change that to, first, okay.
Yeah, and there's no action necessary. It was just maybe, my understanding, all I had to do was announce that.
Okay, thank you.
So let's vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to old business, and I'm going to return to my chair.
Sorry, there you go.
Is ordinance 2024-49 to establish no parking anytime zones along the extents of Green Acres Drive and Harpeth Drive. Is there a motion? Thank you, Alderman Baggett. Seconded by Alderman Barnhill. Any discussion?
No parking anytime, but in reality, if you look at that, the name of it says from 8 until 3.
Yeah, I know. It's true. That's what the signs have to say.
Other comments?
Point of order. Would we be required, since this is a second reading, to make a friendly amendment to reword agenda item number 5? And would it have to go back to a first vote, or would it just be amended as a friendly amendment?
I mean, it would be amended now, and it would be final. There's no more votes after tonight,
Okay.
unless you defer.
You're able
Excuse
to
me,
amend.
second.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
can,
you can amend
can
on,
make the amendment.
yeah,
Okay.
all the way to the very last vote.
Thank you.
So we need to update the title to say 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.?
Ordinance appears to be correct with what it says in the section 2. And I guess you could amend the
You
title
could
if you wanted to.
clarify the title to be the 8
Yeah,
a.m. to 3
clarify the
p.m.
title.
Yeah.
Is that something?
I apologize about that error. But the ordinance is correct. It says, has the hours written in there. 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make an amendment to agenda item number 5 as it's currently written. As it states, consideration of ordinance 2024-49, an ordinance to establish no parking between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Is that correct? 8 a.m. Central Time and 3 p.m. Central Time along the extents of Green Acres Drive and Harpeth Drive. This is the second and final reading.
Well, clarification, before we have a second on that, how many days a week?
I'll second that, and then we
Okay.
can,
All right,
Thank you. It's been seconded. Go.
well, okay, but
Do
in
you
that
wanna make a
motion, in that
clarification
amendment,
since it's your
there's no,
amendment?
I will seek
Is
clarification
it
on this.
7 days? Is it
it
6
the
days?
ordinance, the ordinance is clear. I don't think we have to
This is the
put the
title.
text of the ordinance in the title. The ordinance has all of that outlined.
Oh, we're just doing the title?
That was just the title.
And it's, okay,
That was just the title that
Right.
you see on the agenda, yeah.
okay, my mistake, thank you.
Any other discussion on the amendment to the original motion? Seeing none, you ready to vote on the amendment? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop the, well, let me finish voting on the amendment, and I do have a speaker card, so I apologize to that speaker. Alderman Blanton,
Yes.
Alderman Caesar,
Yes.
Alderman Peterson,
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
The amendment passes unanimously. If it's okay, I'd like to go ahead and get this public comment from William Andrews. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Andrews. Sorry about that. I was asleep.
I live at 429 Green Acres Drive here in Franklin. It's kind of deja vu for me. If that chair that this gentleman right here is sitting in is broken, it's probably my fault. I sat in that chair for some 30 years. I missed maybe 3 or 4 planning commission meetings, but that's beside the point. I thank the mayor and the board for letting me speak. I thank my alderman for working this, and I thank everybody, the rest of the aldermen and alderwomen for thinking it through and trying to do something for the citizens of this area, and that's what this is all about. And it's you know, we got businesses around there, and there's a lot of area that's going to be redeveloped around there, and it's just coming. There's no doubt about it. And I know there were a lot of concerns about, you know, maintenance vehicles and, you know, and all those kinds of things, and that is a legitimate concern. But those are just things that the citizens themselves, while they may think they're doing something good for them, you know, that's just something that's their own decision, and that's the way they're thinking at this point. And so I understand all that. Thank you very much. I hope that you will pass this on the second reading. And again, I appreciate all of the engineering staff and my alderman for working this. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, we're back to the original motions amended. Are you ready to vote?
Mayor, I'd like to ask one question. What, the business that kind of pushed this, when do they open?
I believe it's 8 to 3.
And the reason that I say that, if we're going 8 to 3 and they open at 6:30 or 7, which I see cars there because I go by that pretty regularly, what? And I can live, I mean, this right here, but it may not do what we're expecting it to do.
7.
7?
Alderman Blanton.
Well, William, I think William was referring to me. I am trying to do the best I can for the neighbors. And I just want to go on the record to say I can't support this. I think it is a move in the right direction, but it's just, I think there's going to be some unintended consequences that I know that we really are really trying to make a solution. I just think we're not quite there. So I am for the neighbors, and that's why I'm not going to support this.
Any other comments? Alderman Berger.
Yeah, raise my hand. One of the things that I've been told that doesn't necessarily need to be in the ordinance, but I think we need to reiterate this and talk about it, or just say it, is that if, you know, and I know it's only 8 to 3, okay, but if somebody's having a function at their home on a Sunday or Saturday or even any day of the week, and they need the parking, but they can't park their own guests between 8 and 3, that's a problem. So I've been told that there would be a process that they could just literally call or I don't know if there's an online way to do it, but literally call and request the city to have that neighbor beg, the police officers to beg the sign for a certain period of time so they would be able to actually have their event at their home. I just want to make sure that that's said, because if we don't say it, people won't know it. And I don't know how they would know it if we don't, talk about it. But obviously, it doesn't need to be put into the ordinance, which is fine. But I just want to make sure that people know that they can do that if there's a need. Because I'm with Brandy, there's going to be some unintended consequences. I'm going to go ahead and vote for this time since they asked for it. But I think it'll be back here one day in front of the board. But have at it.
Alderman Baggett.
Thank you. I do support this because the 78% or so of the residents that signed it. I will remind the Board of Mayor and Aldermen that this is parking related. It is in the study corridor for the parking study we just looked at. It has no relationship to whether or not City Hall is located downtown. And we are piecemealing this together, a parking strategy in this area. And it needs to be studied, and it doesn't need to wait for 3 years. We need solutions in this area for parking. We need solutions in downtown. This might very well be a Band-Aid. We might very well have people come back to us and say, I don't like this. Again, yet one more piecemealed strategy we have. And I would just take this opportunity to remind everyone that we need to reconsider the parking study when it's brought back to us.
Any other comments, Alderman Caesar?
I would like to make a motion to amend the times on the ordinance to say from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. because Hank's opens at 7 a.m. And if not, I don't know if any of you go to coffee meetings around town, but a lot of them start at 7 or 7:30. And I think that we may find that folks will line up on these streets from 7:30, and then we're going to have a bunch of police officers coming out and ticketing people. And I don't think that's really the goal. The goal is to give the residents the ability to use the street, the ability for our fire safety apparatus to hopefully never go down the street, but if they do need to get down the street, to go down the street. So I'll be supporting it, but I want to introduce a motion to change the times from 8 to 3 to 7 to 3, please.
And I'll second. Go ahead, sir, Mason. Y'all gonna have a fight? Thank you, Alderman Baggett, for the second. Is there any discussion on the amendment to the original motion, which has already been amended once?
Mr. Mayor, I will say, as far as the discussion goes, the reason why the initial time was set is that's what was on the sign on the materials that we had received. So I appreciate Alderman Caesar going and verifying this. It addresses what the neighbors are concerned about.
Are you ready to vote on the amendment to change the time listed? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Sure, yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
That amendment passes unanimously. We'll now go back to the original motion as amended twice. Any discussion on that? If not, are you ready to vote? Vice Mayor?
Yes, sir. I do agree that I think that there could be some unintended consequences with, as it's been called, a Band-Aid for this parking issue. And one of them I'm concerned about is trucks, trailers, lawn cares, parking just outside of it. But this is an unintended consequence, and the neighbors have to know that going in. But because there was such a large majority that want this no parking for these residents, I will move forward and support it.
Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
No.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes 7-1. We'll now go to item 6, which is Resolution 2024-106, a resolution to award the construction contract for the Robinson Lake Dam project to Heron Construction Company in the amount of $13,607. I'm sorry, $13,607,000, thank you, math, dollars. And I would ask that if someone wants to make that motion, that they also include building the dock.
I will make the motion.
I was looking at Mr. Stuckey. Is that clarification okay before
There's a little hiccup here. The title is correct. It includes the dock. The staff report includes the dock, but the body of the resolution does not. So just as long as it's clear, we're awarding the full bid along with the dock, we're good, because that was reflected in the bid tabulation.
The dock is very important to me as a grandmother for special needs granddaughter. So yeah, I'm all about the dock. So I will make the motion to approve with the dock.
And second by Alderman Caesar. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 7, consideration of ordinance 2024-22 to rezone 86.52 acres from regional commerce to planned district for the property located west of Interstate 65 south of Bakers Bridge Avenue at 1800 Galleria Boulevard, Cool Springs Galleria PUD subdivision. Establish a public hearing for March 25th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Thank you. Seconded by Alderman Peterson. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
I'll vote yes to move to the second reading.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Item 8 is consideration resolution 2025-14 to award the construction contract for the sanitary sewer cleaning inspection contract to Video Industrial Services, Inc. in the amount of $1,097,100. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. I'll do a second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, for the second. Any discussion? Ready to vote?
Can you clarify who the motion maker was? Because we talked.
Alderman Brown
Thank you.
made the motion, and
Thank you.
the Vice Mayor made the second. Sorry about that. Okay, ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. I need a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Barnhill. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There we go.
I missed a speaker. Mr. Crutcher?
Where you Where you got to?
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Crutcher, did he leave?
No, he's right there.
Ron, I overlooked your opportunity to speak public, so I'll give you time after we come back from executive session.
You passed it, so it worked out all right, didn't it?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Crusher.
It was the sound of the door and just kind of.
Are you describing why you did the all rise?
Yeah.
Is that what- Well, they,
It just popped in my head.
From executive session that need to be considered.
Yes, Mayor.
Alderman Brown, you're recognized.
I move to reject the settlement offer made to the city in the case of the City of Franklin versus 240 Second Street LLC and approve a counteroffer from the city in the amount of $200,000.
Second it.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
I'll abstain.
Appropriate, so we have, it passes 7 with 1 abstention. Any other business that comes before this body? Seeing none, is there a
No,
motion?
sir. No, sir. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye. We're adjourned.
all right.